Okay. I would like to share the story of wild banana textile experiment that was conducted in Aklan in Panay Island in 2017. I will explain why and how the workshop was conducted and what the accomplishments were. This story is about the seeded banana widely grown in Aklan, locally called pakol, one of the two banana varieties that are considered the very origin of edible bananas. The photo on the slide is pakol from Aklan. Unlike abaca, pakol is not in commercial use in the Philippines. Meanwhile, Okinawa Prefecture in Japan, namely Ryukyu, the same species as pakol is carefully cultivated as an important fabric material. So let me start with the story of Okinawa's banana fabric. Okay. In southern and central Ryukyus in Japan, as circled in yellow, the same species as pakol called itobasho or Musa balbisiana cola exists. Although abaca does not exist, I believed until this morning, actually. Well, the textile made of itobasho is called bashofu. Historically, bashofu was produced in the region under the control of Ryukyu Kingdom that reigned from the 16th to 19th century for the clothing of men and women and royals and commoners. The kingdom imposed poll tax to southern Ryukyu's islanders to be paid in kind with rami clothes or bashofu, woven with intensive labor by women. This might have been the reason for sustaining their weaving skills. Royals did wear the pure bashofu, and the kingdom used such fabric as tribute and trade with China and other nearby countries. Commoners, especially in southern Ryukyus, made mixed woven clothes called gumbo for their own, typically woven with silk or cotton, combined with leftover itobasho and or rami. Once on the verge of disappearance after the World War II, the fine pure bashofu was restored in Kijoka village on the main island of Okinawa as circled in blue. And afterward, the gumbo was also reborn at Kuru Kobo, a textile studio in Iriomote Island, as circled in red. The photo on the top right shows bashofu from Kijoka, and the bottom right shows gumbo from Iriomote. The right photo shows Ishigaki Akiko weaving with her upright loom, who is the co-founder of Kuru Kobo. The left photo shows itobasho fibers being sun-dried, and the center photo shows Akiko making itobasho thread by knotting at the best place at the Kuru Kobo. In the 1980s, she moved after getting married to Iriomote Island from her hometown, Taketomi Island, where the culture of rami clothes, rami and cotton culture still remained. The weaving culture of Iriomote Island was almost gone then, so she started her textile studio from scratch. As itobasho grew more easily than other textile materials in Iriomote, she decided to focus on growing itobasho and transplanted them besides her studio. Also, she pursued sericulture best fitting for itobasho, working with a university researcher, and found the specific varieties and breeding methods of such silkworms. One such variety was the Indian yellow cocoon called nistari, which is less domesticated and has crisp and lustrous texture when used, especially without removing selsin, and a good match for combining with itobasho to weave gumbo. Akiko was also particular about the ways the yarn was hand-spun, making difference in texture of clothes. The man in the photos is Ishigaki Kinsei, Akiko's partner, originally from Iriomote Island. In this photo, he was cutting a dying yam called kuru that grows wild in the nearby forest. Until he passed away in 2022, he called himself as a janitor who took care of everything and had indeed multi-faces as a historian, folklore musician, poetry craftsman, organic and natural farming practitioner, and above all, he was the community leader in the island. As you can see in the other photos, Kuru Kobo is surrounded by the diverse and rich landscape with the rice field, Itobasho clusters, forest, plant garden, and brackish water zone where mangroves grow as dye plants. Kinsei planted mangrove more than Akiko used. Also, Kinsei raised silkworms of different kinds together with mulberry and tapioca for baits, and 2 kinds of indigo plants as well. As such, the key feature of Kuru Kobo is that all the basic items such as dye materials and threads can be sourced nearby, if not being fully self-sufficient in all. Akiko said that the process of creating such an environment greatly stimulated her inquisitive mind in trying out various new possibilities in making textiles. The left photo shows sea breaching in the brackish water that binds pigments and minerals, and where the cloth is born, says Akiko. The center photo displays Kuru Kobo's gumbo textiles that Akiko believes to be more practical outfits, as it's easier to weave and wash than pure bashofu. For some time, Akiko has been collaborating with the 2 artists in the right photo. One on the left, Maki Chiaki, the founder of Maki Textile Ganga Studio, based in Dehradun, India, and Masago Michio, who runs the fashion brand Alpha in Japan. 3 of them jointly launched the project with the brand name Mapai, meaning due south wind. The centerpiece of Mapai is the combination of surina and kakan, the traditional outfits of the upper and lower garments in the southern Ryukyus. Akiko aims to promote the reinstatement of this clothing into modern fashion by combining selected natural materials, including Indian native silk from wild silkworms such as muga, tassa, and eri. By the way, I'm wearing this is my own version of it, actually. This was designed by Michio. But the bottom, this is just a piece of clothes. I'm wearing it in Balinese way. So this entire design is not the production of the Mapai, I have to say that. And actually, what I'm wearing today is the 100% Abaka sandals, made by Japanese-American craftsman who spent almost entire his professional life in Manila, attracted by Abaka. And unfortunately, he passed away last year, and nobody succeeded the skills of making it. Okay. All right. I have to find where I interrupt. Okay, nowadays, more and more young people in Iriomote with surina, wear surina, not only during festivals, but as fashionable daily clothes. Akiko feels the powerful effects of clothing, which is neither Japanese nor Western, but rather Asian, with a Ryukyu identity embedded in it. Akiko envisions to combine abaka and piña threads into her fabric also. And when I visited Kuru Kobo in February 2016 from the Philippines, she asked me to research on fine abaka and pure piña clothes, as they were somehow getting difficult to access. As you see on the map, Iriomote Island is located much closer to Taiwan than Okinawa main island. Kinsey visited Lanyu Island in Taiwan, and he intuitively felt that Southern Ryukyu's culture was very similar to the culture of Tao people in Lanyu. He was particularly interested that Tao people had a tradition of wearing loincloths made of banana fiber. Moreover, both Musa barbiciana and abaca grow wild, reportedly on Lanyu. And the language of Tao people is quite similar to that of Ivatan people on Batanes Island in the Philippines. In fact, various folklore and myths remaining in southern Ryukyus, as well as archaeological discoveries, indicate that in prehistoric time, southern Ryukyus had closer cultural contact and more active migration flows with Taiwan and the Southeast Asian islands than did Central Ryukyus or the Japanese archipelago. In this regard, although the bashofu on the Okinawa main island is said to have been brought in from the southern China, perhaps the textile culture of southern Ryukyus possibly had a different origin, as Kinsey imagined. With this thought, together with what Akiko had asked me, I set off an exploration trip to Mindanao and to Aklan in May 2016. I think I need the help of my mentor. It doesn't.
It's stuck?
It's stuck.
The computer's stuck?
Uh,
Is it here? It froze?
it's kind of frozen, perhaps.
Should we close it?
Yeah.
You want to keep going? Where did it go? Here. I think. Yeah, here. It was here. That one. Okay, there you go.
Hmm?
Then, okay. You need to go to 7.
Okay.
Let's see if it works. Is that the one?
Yes. Thank you very much. No. Okay. Thank you. Sorry. Thank you. Did. In Mindanao, I visited the two communities well known for the abaca ikat. On the left, Tiboli in Lake Cebu and Sarangani. And on the right, Bagobo people in Bangsalan in Davao del Sur. They both weave with a backstrap loom without the reed with circular warping. That is commonly seen across the traditional Austronesian weaving communities. They split abaca fiber with simple device, unlike Okinawa, where people manually do so. Their abaca ikat clothes were uniquely patterned and remarkable, but they're not exactly the fine abaca that I was searching for. In Davao, Mindanao, I visited the demonstration farms of abaca and banana operated by the respective government agencies. At the abaca farm, I learned that fine abaca fabrics might not be produced in Mindanao, but probably produced in Aklan. And I also learned that the abaca community was concerned about the interbreeding between abaca and pakol in view of keeping the purity of abaca material. And I saw pakol in the middle photo at the banana farm, and the right photo is stripped fiber. I learned that pakol grows across Mindanao and possibly in other islands. According to the tentative research findings at the demo farm, seeded banana, especially pakol, offered more fibers than any other edible bananas. After arriving in Aklan, I met Anna India, who is the long-established supplier of piña and abaca cloths. She revived the fine abaca cloths in the 1980s, which once disappeared in the 60s, according to her. The production of fine abaca was decreasing because only a few knotters were willing to make thin yarns to weave fine abaca clothes. India also told me that pure piña fabric was also decreasing, being replaced by the piña silk combined cloth called piña seda. India also told me that she had experimented extracting fibers from a cooking banana called saba, but had not worked out. So she said she never tried pakol, although she knew they were naturally growing in the forest around Aklan. After hearing my story about the basho gumbo in Iriomote, and that pakol would offer fibers the most, we both became curious about how the textile made with pakol would turn out, and agreed to organize a workshop to explore this. After Akiko heard the good news, she offered technical support, and Orie, who was a trainee of the Kuru Kobo for a year and a half, decided to join the workshop to provide technical inputs. We set two agendas for the workshop. 1, pakol cloth making, and 2, indigo fermentation experiment. For this presentation, we will only focus on pakol today. All 11 participants self-funded to join the workshop, and each was expected to contribute by bringing in their skills or using their contact networks. 7 of the 11 participants were from Aklan, included 3 weavers and or suppliers of abaca and piña fabric, India, Let, Kaulo, and 2 farmers and or knotters, Adriana and Daisy, from Madalag village. 1 local NGO staff involved in the indigo growing project in Galicia village, Maya. A local government staff, Willie, responsible for community livelihood program in Madalag. The remaining 4 included Orie from Kuru Kobo, and 3 from Manila, including myself, my partner Yukiko, and our house staff, Tita. On the day 1, we went to Galicia and nearby forest in search for pakol, got 5 stalks, and brought them back to Aklan. The following morning, Adriana and Daisy brought 5 additional pakol stalks from their village, and we stripped fibers from them. By the way, I said stalks, and actually, to be precise, this is not stem. This is pseudo stem, meaning fake stem. And that's something to do with what we discussed yesterday on whether it's bust or not. So actually, what is the fake stem? The part looking like stem is actually the layered leaves or roll of leaves. It's not the stem. Therefore, it's not bust. Like piña leaves, or the one we discussed in Borneo. That's also not bust, to be precise from that perspective, I think. Okay, back to... All right. The following... where are we now? Sorry. Okay, here. On the same day, we boiled the stripped fiber in wood lye in a large pot and rinsed in water to wash off the lye. Boiling with lye is not the part of the process for abaca and piña, so this was something new to the participants from Aklan. The next step was extracting the fibers. Each strip was torn into narrower wedges, then scraped the stripes using bamboo scissors, handmade on site with bamboo, to remove the non-fibrous materials. The day ended with drying the fibers, and we were treated with the local delicacy called inubalan. As you see in the right-down photo, probably you know this. The native chicken cooked with pakol cores and fruits and coconuts. It was really delicious. The following morning, Orie showed how to make balls of dried fiber called chin winding. This is the way to keep the fibers until ready for splitting the fiber to make yarns by knotting. The dried fibers were carefully split manually, and this process was the most tedious part of all when compared with abaca and piña. Abaca fibers can easily split by simply scraping it with knife, and the same for piña with a sharply cut ceramic or coconut shell. Knotting was not difficult for Adriana and Daisy since they were experienced knotters for Abaca. They went home and continued knotting and came back after 3 days to give the yarns to Let for weaving. After 2 days, Let finished weaving silk pakol fabric. Silk was used for the warp and pakol was used for the weft. The upper part of the clothes was woven with yarn from non-boiled pakol fibers, and the lower part using yarns from the boiled pakol fibers. How does it look? We found the patterns of natural colors somewhat like rainbow. The color variations of the woven clothes reflected the differences of each of the 10 pakol stalks of different age ranges and forest locations, resulted in threads of diverse natural colors and touch, which was clearly different from the threads extracted from cultivated itobasho, or bashofu. Also, the fine silk used for warp emphasized the color variation of pakol used as weft. The beauty of the clothes came from natural coincidence of randomly placed yarns, we thought. 2 years after the workshop, we returned back to Aklan in October 2019 to see if there were any progresses since we had left off. Let made 2 pieces of table runners using the yarns from non-boiled pakol fibers and did not sell them until we got to see them, although customers had wanted it. India had transplanted pakol taken from the forest to her own farm to continue further experiment. India produced 2 samples of pakol yarns together with Adriana. The darker thread on the right had been boiled mistakenly with lime, not with lye, and the other one had not been boiled at all. Interestingly, a young weaver from Okinawa is recently conducting similar experiment of not boiling to get the whiter thread from the fresh itobasho fibers. India uploaded on her Facebook the sketch above and noted a promising fiber, finding its niche in the future for textile and craft developments. Orie felt that the workshop offered her an opportunity to reflect on what she had learned at Kobo and also an invaluable opportunity to learn about the Abaca and Pina culture. And Orie also felt that the rainbow-colored fabric was a gift from the healthy forest around Aklan. Returning to Iriomote, she reported to Akiko and Kinsei that Aklan was rich in nature and culture like Iriomote and wove a beautiful Abaca tapestry, while Akiko created the unique gumbo mosquito net that incorporated Abaca on the sides, as shown in the slide. Indeed, it's an Asian gumbo in which the Ryukyu identity embedded. After reflecting this story, I feel that the workshop was successful, as it met the objective of making wild banana fabric, and it somehow stimulated the post-workshop activities of both textile communities in Aklan and Iriomote. I feel that there were a couple of key success factors here. 1, we had participants of appropriate skill mix collectively making a piece of textile in a short period of time. And 2, Iriomote and Aklan were a good match. Both parties share something in common, knowledge and curiosity on banana fibers and weaving with different natural materials. At the same time, they had differences in the process of making the clothes, which made the experiment further meaningful. And for me, this experience was the source of inspirations about the potential of wild plants, as well as the exchanges of local knowledge, leading to our following activities in Ifugao, which will be presented during Panel 6 tomorrow. Well, please check the QR code located at the center corner to access the introductory chapter of the book entitled Kobo Symphony, which I translated to English. And there will be an exhibition of Mapai in Mumbai in India in the first week of December. and in Provence, in South France, in end May next year. So please check that out also if you're interested in Banana Gumbo textile. Thank you for listening. Oh.